Oh, good way to start a video. Picking the hape out my nose. So, not the cleanest backdrop here. We've got a white wall. Maybe I should get that, actually, because that's going to be quite noticeable. Anyway, what a wonderful introduction. So, guys, how do we stay vital? How do we stay vital and stay high amongst all this crazy chaos, all this turbulence, what's going around in the world today, because oh gosh, I could go on a massive spiel. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but there's obviously lots going on in the world, and there's a lot going on for me, and it's probably a lot going on for you. So yeah, just thought I'd check in with you fellas and sort of feel free to leave a little comment with my friends saying, hey bro, I'm tuning in. It's a lonely world, let's connect. So and it's lonely when you're on the path. It's super lonely when you realize that it's really hard to be met and seen on all the layers that we wish to be met and seen on. Oh gosh, letting go of being understood, that's a big one. Far out. Journeyed with that many times. Don't you just feel the need to be understood is so powerful, so overwhelmingly powerful, that it frustrates us, it triggers us when we realize that the other person hasn't seen or met us on a level that we need to be seen or met or understood? It's so, having to let that go. It's a lonely world for some, Oh, I've been watching heaps of different people on YouTube, and I've been watching Professor Zhang. He's an amazing Chinese historian, and he's been talking about game theory, about the New World Order, and unpacking the whole thing. So he's given me a really beautiful sort of tree web, something so simple and visual it's not simple, it's super, but he's amazing because he makes it so palatable, so easy for the everyday civilian, everyday muggle to understand. And I think the world we're coming into now is that all of the supposed muggles, or civilians, or everyday people, normal folk, are going to be put to the test. Because, obviously there is a greater, there's no such thing as a greater community, but what I'm saying is there's a great community, a band of many, 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 many people, who are aware of what's going on some level behind the curtains of who's really pulling the strings and what's actually happening in the world today. So it's time for we're in the year of the fire horse. It's time to charge. I think it's time to wake up. It's time to really start banding together and coming together, for the reason being that I don't want to say the enemy, it doesn't matter. There is no, whatever. The crazy, evil people in the world, they, sending them love, by the way, they have a plan for us, they have a proper plan. It's all intentional. And I think it's time for the everyday muggle to realize that naivety has been the main sense of programming, like the fact that we trust so deeply. We trust so deeply the government and our society and our friends and what we're told and what we see. We're tricked so easily. I think it's time to humble ourselves and realize that, holy fuck, potentially this has all just been a bit of a lie, a bit of a scam. Holy shit, actually, what do you mean? The whole world could just totally collapse and then we'd be fucked. Meanwhile, they've actually put things into our body over this course of time and into our minds to make it even harder for us when it collapses. So I'm not here to doom and gloom, fellas and ladies. I'm not here to doom and gloom. We need more inspirational people. We need more light, and we need more love and courage and kindness in this world. We definitely do, indeed. So how do we raise the vibration so that we are literally operating from that framework at all times? So we have to I'm just going to go inside because the neighbors are a bit crazy. We're going to have to remember ourselves, what we are as a race. We have to remember our nature, remember what we are. What are we? We're just like sacks of meat walking around, somewhat sentient, most of us, But are we greater, more powerful, more present, more epic than that? Are we in fact the biological manifestation of God itself? Do we have the powers to create our own reality? Of course we do. Why? Because synchronicity is the thing. And what is synchronicity? Well, synchronicity is your creation. So basically what it is, if you think about someone or something that's going on in your mind, and then you so happen to receive a call, see someone you were just thinking about, they just drive past, what is that? Is that a synchronicity or a coincidence? So I think it's time to not only start seeing the crazy evil shit that's going on in the world, because that's all happening, that's all, a thing. But we need to remember that what we are, because we can't just focus on them. We don't want to be sending them energy, okay? That's the whole point. Their plan is to take energy from us, from the collective consciousness, so that they can create a reality in their image. So there's a story, a biblical story called Plato's Cave. So if we talk about Plato's Cave, basically, essentially what it is, there's 1 million people lined up, okay, in a line. And they're in a cave, all right? And they're all tied together with shackles, right? And a blindfold. And the only thing that they can see, right, is and there's a fire, okay? There's a fire. And the only thing they can see is the shadow that it casts on their blindfold as they're walking around in this cave. They can see the light flickering. And there's another element. So behind the fire, there is a group of individuals. There are entities, there are forces, there are things that are moving or creating imagery, shapes, puppeteering behind or in front of the fire. And they are creating an illusion or a perspective upon your blindfold. Okay, so this is a really well-known story or analogy, metaphor for how we have been entrapped. Okay, so what we see is what they are manipulating through the fire, creating the shadows which lay upon our vision. That's what we see. Okay. That's our perspective of life. That's our reality. That's all we know. That's all we can see. That's our entire reality is based upon what we can see. All right? So that's fundamentally the story, right? But we're almost there. So what if, someone wakes up, okay? Someone realizes that the shackles aren't made of steel. There's just like a ribbon around their wrist. They're like, we'll just take that off. And they take off the blindfold, all right? And they see what's going on, and they go, what the? Right? And they leave the cave. And then they go outside of the cave, and they see light, trees, birds, water for the first time. They see nature. They see the sun. This is a really important distinction to make. Okay? Before I even heard about this Plato's Cave thing, I've been talking about the sun, all right? Why is the sun important? We'll get to that. But essentially, the person woke up. He went outside. He saw the sunlight. He was like, what? No way. Holy, this can't be real. Anyway, he went right back inside the cave. He went, guys, wake up. There's realities out here. Right? And guess what? They killed him. Right? Because they weren't convinced that his reality was more real than their reality. Because so this is fundamentally how narcissists operate. We don't have to get into that. But basically, the idea is, if you question the fabric of someone's reality by being authentic or conveying truth in some way, it can really impact other people, okay? Because you're challenging their very existence. Because they've identified with their reality, okay? They've become that. So basically, they kill him for preservation, for survival, because otherwise they wouldn't know who they are. So now it's about identity, about remembering who we are and what we are and what we're in. We're in a cave, and all we're seeing is the movies they're putting on for us. It's a movie, right? That's why we watch movies. We're convinced to watch and believe in these alternate realities. We can get into why they all make that up. But anyway, the point is, it's time, guys. It's time to start realizing that, well, we're mostly in a cave, okay? And I believe and know for a fact that you've experienced at some time in your life a synchronic moment, a synchronicity, all right, which just completely blew you away. You didn't know how to explain it. You didn't know how to describe the feeling, but it stayed with you and you will never forget, because that feeling is what I'm talking about. Okay? We're going to tune into that feeling. What does it feel like to experience a synchronicity? Okay? It's like remembering who you are and what you are. It's actually your brain making the connection, the neural pathway to create an image, all right? The synchronicity, the creation of what you were thinking from your mind, that when you see it, you experience that. Because that's what consciousness is, right? It's forever learning and growing and expanding upon itself. So synchronicity is a moment in time, and it happens a billion times a second. Okay, whether we're conscious of it or not. But when we have those rare and fleeting moments in between where we experience that, we are for a moment remembering our nature and our power. It's really important that we begin to remember that this is what a human is. This is what me and you and our friends are. We're spiritual beings having a human existence. Okay? Think about it for a moment. Think about it for a moment and feel into it, because I am 100% certain you know what I'm talking about. That feeling, that synchronic feeling, and knowing that there's got to be more to life, right? There's got to be more to life than this job and taxes and food and rent, yeah? It's got to be more. So what I'm talking about, guys, is quite existential, and the fact that some of you might be going through a crisis, an existential identity crisis. So what will happen in the years to come or months to come is that we will have to examine our beliefs, okay? We're going to have to examine very, very deeply what it is that we have subscribed to, what we believe to be true and real, okay? Because what's going to happen is we're going to start seeing some very, very disturbing things, and I don't want to program that into you. It's just a reminder that there is a plan in place and we're going to see it unfold. Okay, so how do we be brave? How do we be courageous? How do we stand up for truth, for authenticity? Because ultimately, guys, we're living in a bit of a matrix, a bit of an illusion. Okay, and I think we're going to start to see that more and more as they start rolling out new mandates, as the bureaucracy starts to get a little bit more tangibly obvious in front of you when they start saying lock down for X, Y, Z. You say why? You run the numbers and you realize it's all actually because it's about power, it's about greed, and what's going on is inhuman. It's not human, okay? These plans, these plots are just not human related in any way. We need to remember our nature, okay? It's time to wake up and face the music. So what does that mean? It means, guys, we are the creators of our reality. We can create whatever we want in this life. We need to remember that, This is our God-given gift. We were born with this gift. And the very reason why we're living in these entrapped, enclosed prisons in our daily lives, we're not feeling free, is because they actually don't have the power to lock us down. Okay? Completely. We have free will. We have imagination. They don't. They rely upon the collective consciousness to create the reality, the reality in their image. So we need to remember that we have the power. And these elitists, these evil demons, whatever you want to call them, they don't have any power. None. Zero. They are powerless. Let's not forget that point. Because they require our love, our intelligence, our consciousness. That is the strongest, most valuable currency, is our attention. Okay, let's look at it on a deeper level for a moment. Our attention. Okay, that's what creates reality, is our focus, our imagination, our heart. So those are the points really that I wanted to make. So how do we stay high vibration? Because it's so easy to forget, right? So easy to forget that, oh my God, I'm actually like the biological manifestation of God. And so are you. We are human. What does that mean? Look into what a human is. Do your research, Go online. What's a human, And then maybe you'll find a thread, and don't go down the biological evolutionary chart, because that's all a lie too, that we come from chimps. Right? Yeah. Think about it. Really think about it. Okay. Really think about it. Do a deep dive. Ask some questions. Really question your beliefs, because we're going to have to really start to reflect and become a little bit more grounded in this reality, because we're going to get swept off our feet if we don't wake up. Yeah. So all the love, all the power to you guys. Remembering Plato's Cave, look at that. Professor Zhang, I will try to leave a comment with his thing. Check him out. He describes and talks about the new Trump's world order. It's a really amazing deep dive into the battle plan that they have for us. So, guys, let's do this, okay? Remembering our nature, remembering that they don't have any power, that the power belongs here in our minds and our hearts, okay, in our soul. And that's what they use to create their reality. So ultimately, we can create whatever reality we want together. Let's wake up together, okay? Let's wake up together. Look at your partner in the eyes. Look at yourself deeply in the eyes, unwavering. Ask yourself, who are you? Who are you? And not just who you think you are, what you are. Remember who you are. Much love, people. Choo.